Hey, remember this? This whole fiasco we got ourselves involved in last time? Yeah. Last time on Nurse Love Addiction, this happened. And I don't have anything else to say. I just want to get out of this very uncomfortable, awkward position. Hitting my hip for a moment, I feel a throbbing pain, but such thoughts quickly flee from my mind. When I realize it, her face is at an incredibly close distance to mine. I swallow nervously. I find myself lying completely on top of her, as if I had pushed her down. We are so close, I can see my own reflection in her eyes. I can hear her breathing. It's so close, I can almost touch it. For a short moment, I cannot think of anything. My mind is blank, as if I had been shot out into outer space. Weightless? I can reach out my hand. No. I don't know how long I remained like that, but I suddenly returned to my senses. Then, even as I think this, I begin to comprehend my situation. With all my strength, I have pushed down Miss Sakuya, and am continuing to hold her down. Yes, get up! Why aren't we getting up? Not only that, it appears as if I'm trying to force her to kiss me. It's an unfortunate accident, but of course I doubt there's any way Miss Sakuya will forgive me. Will she kill me? Panic. Miss Sakuya's mouth begins to make small movements. I cannot hear what she's saying at all. She's probably saying, "Get off of me, you're heavy." That's what I would be saying. A scolding, verbal abuse, a death sentence? Then, for some reason, a translucent expression appears on Miss Sakuya's face. I feel a slight sense of nostalgia. Wait, what? Nostalgia? For what? My body is free from its rigor in response to Miss Sakuya's words, and I try to separate our bodies. Simultaneously, there's the sound of the door opening, and who else would choose this moment to enter but you know, if it is Itsuki, I kind of expect her to just laugh it off. But okay, here we go. Oh no! No! Why does now have to be there? I mean, come on, I haven't pointed it out, but it's been obvious. We know now's a root, so this is not ideal for now. Which, to be honest, I don't care, because she's my sister. But still, this couldn't get, cliche enough right now. Her voice is immediately amused. To make matters worse. And you're half naked. This is real awkward. Enter now. Why? I mean, that's pretty much what I expected Itsuki to say. Something along those lines. Miss Sakuya seems completely calm. Impressive as always. What a grown-up. No, this is a misunderstanding. Is that still, are we still groping her? I've been caught red-handed. Afterwards, returning to our room. Okay, well, at least now listen to us and believes us. From the start, it appears now had basically understood what had happened, with a single glance. As for my key, it had fallen onto the floor near the side of our beds. Now goes to the kitchen.
あ、でもなんでいつきさんと？うん、帰り道でたまたま一緒になったの。グループワークのこととかあるし、話しながら寮まで帰ってきて。
But it's interesting because Itsuki and Sakuya live on the second floor. So why would Now have gone with Itsuki to her room if they were just like chatting on their way home? It makes sense to me that they would have parted ways at the stairs like Asuka and Sakuya almost did. I'm just saying. Put a pin in that. We'll see if it means anything. Oh. Okay. Clearly, I need to save my speculation just for like a moment longer next time. That explains it. It all makes sense now. Now talks as she boils the water. And so, as we wait for the tea to finish, we let the time pass with Now talking about Miss Itsuki and me talking about Miss Sakuya. The warm tea works amazingly on my cold body. June. The rainy season is a dreary time. Light rain falls outside the window.
ですので、血圧測定は毎日行うのが理想的です。特に入院している患者さんの血圧を含めたバイタルを毎日測定するのは基本中の基本で。あ、来た。
It happens during our class on blood pressure measurement in the training room.
やっぱり今年もか。
To be honest, I'm fed up. The onset of a headache, it's still alright, but I can feel it'll probably begin around the end of class. I consider how long I've had this problem, these light headaches that come every year during rainy season. I've heard stories about how it has to do something with the change in the barometric pressure. I think that's how you pronounce it. The healing forehead we had talked about once while we were in bed. Remembering this, I laughed slightly. Now, who had gone to Miss O'Hara to ask a question, looks at me and cocks her head. I shake my head to tell her that's nothing. Now also lets out a small laugh. The rainy season is gloomy and I dislike headaches, but I like having Now do her magic charm on me. Now is my miracle drug. The first time I had said that to Now was a very long time ago. Even with my bad memory, I remember it clearly. I won't forget that precious moment.
Itsuki, そこ、もう少しきつめに。こう？それではきつすぎるわ。ステートが入る隙間ないでしょ。
Miss Sakuya and Miss Itsuki are practicing on I don't even know if I want to try pronouncing that. Siphigomananometer. I don't know these terms. That was a great try though.
そう、それにマンシェットを巻く位置をもう少し。ああ、下の方が良さげだね。オッケー。仲いいな。
Ever since that day, I find my eyes following Miss Sakuya unconsciously. Drizzling rain falls outside the window, its sound not reaching inside the classroom. And so, the sound of rain in my head is that of the day I had walked home with Miss Sakuya.
どんなに元気に見えても、ちょっとした体温や血圧の変化で体調の異変をいち早く知ることができます。毎日変わり映えしないのに、 なんて思って測定している患者さんもいるかもしれません。しかしそういう方にはなぜ必要なのかをきちんと説明して理解していただけるようにしてくださいね。
Miss O'Hara's voice wafts through the classroom like peaceful music.
先生は先生辞めないですよね。はい。
Since then, Miss O'Hara has shown no sign of acting different.
封筒どうなったのかな。それではなおちゃん。
After school, we have returned to our room. The ceremony for the magic charm begins with us sitting on our knees facing each other. I first sit on my knees on the floor and wait for Now. The room is quiet. My head throbs slightly. The rain has grown stronger, and even in our room you can hear it softly now.
ちょっと待ってね。
Now, who had been washing dishes in the kitchen, wipes her hands and walks over. Whoa, they have a kitchen in their room? I mean, I guess I assumed that's how they were cooking, but that's impressive. It's a nice dorm room.
お待たせ。
Saying this, Now sits on her knees so close to me that our kneecaps are basically touching.
よろしくお願いします。
I make this dramatic pronouncement and bow my head. Now lets out a small laugh.
今年で何回目だろうね。そうだね。1年に2、3回じゃ済まなかった年もあるし。ねえ、お姉ちゃん。
Now speaks in a low voice that has a slightly mischievous ring to it.
何なおちゃん。たまには違う姿勢でしてみよっか。
Even as she says this, Now takes my hands and pulls me towards herself. Wait, what? Slowly she falls onto her back. What is going on? I thought they just sit and they press their foreheads together. With my hands being pulled, I fall forward until naturally... Oh no, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I end up in a position where I could be said to be covering or pinning down Now as she lies on the floor. Why would you even think of it in that way, of pinning her down on the floor? She is under my body. Now looks up at me. The look in her eyes suggests she wants to say something. Although the magic charm hasn't even started yet, for a moment I forget all about my headache. I can feel Now's body heat where our skin touches. Now's body temperature has always been higher than mine, and so apparently summer has never been her favorite season. Huh, maybe body temperature didn't have anything to do with it. Now opens her mouth. I mean, I knew when I started that there was a route with Now, but I just was hoping we could maybe avoid all of this, but I know we have to set it up. Game. What have I gotten myself into? Yeah, it might. Don't encourage her. But why do you have to do it lying on with Asuka lying on top of you? If you wanted like a kiss from your sister, that's just. Of course, it doesn't make me feel unpleasant in any way. Now lets out a small laugh. For some reason, Now's eyes seem slightly moist. Wait, so is this in regards to kissing her? Hold on. I need to save this because I do not want to go down the Now route. So I am gonna go back and undo this if I have to, which would really suck, because I kind of just want to see where the story takes me. I like when it's not clearly defined that way. I'm gonna assume this is in regards to the kiss, so.
姉妹でキスは良くないこと。
My feelings of it being wrong, and my feelings of wanting to try it mixed together. Well, I am the older sister.
大事な妹で。
Now his hand reaches out towards my head, as if to examine the headache, as if to embrace my head. Now his hand touches my hair and it tickles slightly. There's a static energy between the two of us, almost like something magnetic.
惹かれる。
So the language has been really interesting in this game. There's a lot of language that has to do with gravity and magnetism and being like pulled towards other people and people appearing closer and farther away. A lot of this wordplay with distance and gravity and attraction that I really like, and I don't know if it's going to have greater meaning in the story, or if it's just the language, it's the choice of the writer, but I'm curious to see if there might be some greater reason for it, because I have been noticing. And either way, it's really cool. Descriptions are great. Then now says, what? Is that how we start the charm? Her hand moves towards the tip of my nose and her index finger prods my nose up slightly. I am now sporting a piggy nose. Now let's out a giggle. Well, if it's got to be piggy nose or kissing you, well, I'll go with the piggy nose. Speaking playfully, she sits up. Huh. Dazed, I follow her lead and sit up as well. As she says this, Now has already returned to her usual self. Obediently, I extend my forehead towards Now. Now also leans her body forward and brings her forehead towards mine. Our foreheads touch. I close my eyes. I can hear the sound of the rain again, and her voice. Now's voice as she says the magic charm. Thinking such thoughts, I have a hard time concentrating on the magic charm, but it is still just as effective. Now has done it again. Whenever I need it, Now is my miracle drug. After the magic charm finishes, I mutter these words, and Now grins. Sweet? Don't I know it? Now serves us homemade panna cotta for our afternoon snack. She said she made it in 5 minutes, but I'm impressed by the quality. It's sweet and... What? That might not be the wording I would have used, but if you want to, lead your sister on a little more, I guess I'd use taste. It makes sense. I am impressed. Now blushes slightly. That day, a storm comes. Oh, no, the weather outside is usual, cloudy, rainy season sky. No, the storm is caused by Miss O'Hara's words at school in the training room. Uh-oh. Oh, is that what you meant? I thought we were going to see her get, really angry or something. I was like, ugh, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Murmurs course throughout the classroom. There is even something like a cry of dismay. Truly a storm.
入院している患者さんにはベッドから動けず症状排泄しなければいけない方も多くいます。看護師にとってその介助や後始末も大事な仕事ですから。患者さんの心理や実際のところを知るために今日は皆さんに症状排泄を体験してもらいますね。
Miss O'Hara flashes her angelic smile.
ベッドの中でおしっこするだと。
Well, when you think about it, it is that whole idea of personally experiencing something, like about the changing of the night gear and the nightgowns and such.
それでは皆さん準備始めましょうか。
But I feel like this might lead to some awkward situations. And in an environment where our classmates are close by. I cry out faintly in a stunned voice.
そういう授業があるって聞いてたけど恥ずかしいね。やりたくない。ダメよ、大事な授業だもの。でもついに来たという感じね。
Miss Sakia mutters in a very serious voice.
姫は入院経験あるし、やったことあるんじゃない？それとこれは違うわ。周りにクラスメイトがいる中で行うのはさすがに。そんなもんかね。何？あなたは平気なの？とりあえずゆうべイメトレ100回やって慣れたつもり。それなら私もしたわ。
And so we receive an explanation of how the training will go down. It turns out we won't actually be having to pee in bed with our classmates watching. What a relief. The curtains of each individual bed will be closed and the student will lie down on the bed alone. Then, removing their underwear, they'll place the bedpan between their legs. And then they'll just let it flow.
では、そこのベッドでは大幸あすかさんから行ってください。はい。
Designated by Miss O'Hara, there's nowhere for me to run.
お姉ちゃん頑張って。たかがおしっこだよ。
Right? You do it every day. No, that'd seriously be really embarrassing. Even if you are, like, shielded away from the eyes of your classmates. Receiving this form of encouragement from now, I awkwardly pass the curtain and walk to the bed. I lie down.
誰にも見られてないのは分かってるけど。リラックスリラックス。何にも考えずにただおしっこすればいいだけなんだから。って無理です。カーテンで見られてないってもちょろちょろって音周りに聞こえたりするかもしれないし。おなら出ちゃったらとか考えると、それも全然近い。
Right? You never know. Around me, the training room is not buzzing with voices, but there is an odd tension in the air.
しなきゃ。おしっこしなきゃ。
The more I think that I need to, the less I can. Time continues to pass, and I can hear the voices from the other beds of those who finished. Voices saying things like, "That was tiring," and "It's emotionally draining." But they have finished and are moving on to the next students.
私も早くしなきゃ。そこ、隣のベッドが空きましたね。武田さん、そちらを使ってください。はい、先生。
I hear Miss Sakuya's voice. It's because I'm taking forever.
毎日してることなのに。
I had no idea that just by the environment changing, it could become so difficult. In the end, I cannot bring myself to pee, and Miss O'Hara
そ
says,
このベッド、時間かかりすぎです。大幸さん、交代してください。
Hearing that voice, I get out of the bed. Stepping out from the curtain, I see that Miss Sakuya has already finished and returned. Maybe all her visualization had worked. Now is also standing there with a worried look on her face. I smile and attempt to hide my blushes.
いやー、やっぱ無理だよ。ベッドっておしっこする場所じゃないもんね。できなかった人も患者さんはそれくらい抵抗を感じることもある行為だということを覚えてくださいね。だそうよ、アスカ。はい。
On one fair-weathered weekend during the rainy season,
いつきさんだ。
Now and I had gone near the station to shop. When we arrive back at the dormitory, we see her there. She is standing a little inside the thicket near the dormitory. Miss Itsuki appears to be talking to someone on her smartphone. There is an expression on her face that I have never seen before. Serious. Grave? I can't hear what she's saying from where we're standing. I wonder who she's talking to. Miss Itsuki notices our presence and says something in her smartphone before ending the call. She raises one of her hands and approaches us from the thicket.
こんにちは、いつきさん。や、大幸姉妹。今の見てた？うん、電話してたんだ。ちょっとね。姫には聞かれたくない内緒の話。
You can't walk around saying these cryptic things all the time, Itsuki. It makes us all too curious. The princess refers to Miss Sakuya. She says this meaningfully, but I can't take her at face value. After all, this is Miss Itsuki we're talking about.
二人とも聞いてた？ここまで聞こえないよ。距離あるもん。そっか、それよかった。よかった？もし聞かれてたら、あんたたちはあれしなきゃいけないところだったのさ。
What? Do what?
あれって？何あれって？あれはあれだよ。あれを何してそれするんだ。やばい相手との電話なんでね。
What? Oh my god. It's like not just confounding, it's frustrating when you speak in riddles like that.
いつきさんもそういうのはダメだよ。
Thank you now.
おっと。
Now breaks the tension. Miss Itsuki shrugs her shoulders apologetically.
ま、ただのダチよ。ちょっと揉めてさ。
She says as if the topic no longer interests her. The end of June. I am relieved upon hearing on the TV that this year the rainy season will end earlier than last year. On one particular day, I first notice it during the morning basic nursing skills training.
お姉ちゃん？どうしたの？あ、うん。
I shake my head to say that it's nothing, but it continued even into the afternoon. Going home, I walk next to Now.
お姉ちゃん、何か考え事？今日様子変だよ。ああ、うん。それはね。
I abruptly stop walking. I spin around to look behind me. Then I continue to eye my surroundings.
やっぱり気のせいかな。お姉ちゃん？いや、なんか今日ずっと誰かに見られてる気がしてて。
Now looks surprised.
わかんないんだけど、気のせいっぽいんだけどね。
I flap my hand as if to wave off the notion. It's true, though, that for a while I've had the sense that someone has been watching me closely. If I told this to most people, they would say I was just imagining things, but not now. She lowers her voice with a worried expression on her
それっ
face.
てストーカーとか
A stalker? Even though a similar thought had crossed my mind, I hadn't been able to say the word. I had thought going there would be overthinking things.
いやーそれはないよだってそんなことされる心当たりないもん
I don't know. Sometimes it feels like Itsuki might be your stalker, Asuka. Just saying, she knows a lot of personal stuff about you. How she figured it out, we don't know. I don't know why you've forgotten.
でもいつきさんとかさくやさんとかならわかるけど
I consider how they probably have passionate fans, especially Miss Itsuki.
私なんて相手にしないよモテたことないし
Oh, don't be so down on yourself.
そんなことないよなおちゃん
Now suddenly raises her voice, frightening
お
me.
姉ちゃんなおにモテモテだよ
Oh boy. Oh.
あどうも
I mean, it's one thing to compliment your sister, it's another thing to call her attractive. Well, I guess that could be used in a platonic context. Maybe. Not from now, though, clearly. I blush
して
slightly.
なかったらなお絶対お姉ちゃんストーキングして
Okay, now that's not something I imagine a sister would say to another one,
しちゃダメ
platonically.
でしょするもん
Now is suddenly acting stubborn. From what I remember, this wasn't what we were originally talking about, but in any case, it takes quite some time to restore Nao's mood. In the end, for some reason, I've even promised her that we'll sleep in the same bed tonight. Oh boy. Nao is smiling with satisfaction, and I'm not entirely sure how things ended up this way. Even as this goes on, the entire time I continue to feel as if someone is watching me from somewhere. We return to our dorm. Later that night. Tonight, there is a beautiful starry sky.
はいお姉ちゃん夕食できたよ今日は肉じゃが肉じゃが好き人参さん多めだよ人参嫌い
Now laughs dryly in response to the declaration of my hatred for the vegetable.
ダメだよしっかり食べなきゃ体にいい栄養いっぱい入ってるんだか
Now's words abruptly finish at an odd point. Huh. Wait, what? Now quickly turns and rushes to the window before throwing the curtains open, and
やっ
then
ぱりお姉ちゃん感じてた視線ってあれじゃないかな
saying this, she points outside the window. Now asks me if she wants me to go with her, but I tell her it's all right. Oh no. I step out alone to the front of the dorm. I recognize who it is immediately. In the shadow of the electricity pole, dressed in a white uniform, she's crouching down as if to hide herself, but doing a horrible job of it. Now had said she felt someone was watching our room, but that's an understatement of how sharp she had been. I clear my throat quietly, drum up my courage, and call out to her.
大原先生
Are you serious, really? We've been stalked by our teacher? I guess there's no one else who would be dressed in all white, though. In a strangled voice of surprise, the person wearing the white uniform spins around towards me. Why is she wearing her white uniform? For a moment, such puzzling thoughts crossed my mind.
あら大崎さん課題はかどってますか
Miss O'Hara gives me a smile, her angelic smile. It is most definitely Miss O'Hara who is there, Wearing her white uniform, nurse's cap, and her smile, I am filled with admiration for this ideal nurse standing in front of me. Putting aside the fact that she's hiding suspiciously in the shadow of an electricity pole near our dorm, but not even I can put that aside.
それじゃあ先生行きますね。また明日学校で。
Well, that was strange. Miss O'Hara spins around and attempts to walk off. What is she doing here at this time of night? Then, even with my horrible memory, I recall what might make Miss O'Hara so interested in what I was doing.
封筒のことですよね。
Oh. Is that what this is about? But why? But why stalk? Was she gonna stalk us to stop us from telling someone? Like, just jump out of the shadows, cover our mouth the minute we begin to utter something about the envelope to someone? I don't know if I buy it. In her surprise, Miss O'Hara nearly topples over. Oops. I've come to the roof of the academy with Miss O'Hara. The lights of the city, the closeness of the sky.
屋上初めてだ。いい眺め。大幸さん。
Miss O'Hara says my name and I turn around. I felt a little awkward talking in front of my dorm, so I told Miss O'Hara that we should talk somewhere private. She had brought me here. Miss O'Hara seems fidgety. I am filled with questions such as why she's wearing her white uniform, but right now there are more important matters. The envelope from that day, the one that had letter of resignation written on it, and which she had told me not to tell anyone about. The envelope that belongs to someone who isn't Miss O'Hara, as we had both agreed to believe.
私、封筒のこと言ってません。誰にも。
That is the only thing I could think of that might be worrying Miss O'Hara. But I do feel a little sad. After all, this means that she hadn't trusted me when I had promised her I wouldn't tell anyone.
そう。そうよね。わかっているの。
Miss O'Hara nods, but her expression seems to say otherwise. She does not seem convinced.
信用ないな、私。でも、いいですか？何かしら。なんで今日なのかなって。
Yeah, that's the question I have too. It has been 3 weeks since I made that promise to Miss O'Hara. During that time, Miss O'Hara had been completely normal. In fact, it had been enough to make me wonder what had happened to the envelope. Why had she waited until today to try and, in loosest of terms, stalk me?
それは。
Miss O'Hara falls silent.
私、ちょっとショックだったし。
A little is actually an understatement. I gaze directly at Miss O'Hara, and she seems to resign herself a little. She speaks in a small voice.
夢に見たの。夢ってドリーム？ええ。あの日約束したし、大幸さんは約束破る子じゃないって思ってたから安心していたわ。でもね、昨べ夢に見てしまったの。大幸さんが封筒のことを学校に話して、それで私が職員室で
What?
貼り付け火あぶりにされる夢。
Excuse me, is this what you should be telling a student of yours?
すごい言葉出てきた。
Yeah, well.
それで今朝起きてからずっとどうしても不安で。
I don't know, maybe you lay off the crazy television and movies, or I don't know what else what you might be taking, have crazy dreams like that. It's easy to say it's just a dream, but Miss O'Hara looks honestly worried. Is it that much of a problem to have your employer find out that you were thinking of quitting? The world of grown-ups is scary. You're part of that world of grown-ups, Asuka. Stop trying to separate yourself from it. But then...
封筒ってやっぱり先生のだったんですか？違う。
Are we still gonna play this game? As if it wasn't any more convincing the first time. Miss O'Hara uses this opportunity to deny it again. Well, if she's fine with that, then so am I. Nervously, Miss O'Hara glances at me. Miss O'Hara really does look good in her white uniform. Such unrelated thoughts cross my mind, but even after having thought it over, the only thing I can say remains the same. The same thing I had said that day after school.
私言わないです。封筒のことは誰にも。大幸さん。だから安心してください。って言うしかないけど、安心してほしいです。
I tell her from the bottom of my heart. I really don't care who the envelope belonged to. I just want her not to worry anymore. Miss O'Hara gazes directly at me, and I gaze directly back at her. Tonight the stars are beautiful in the night sky. The sky is filled with stars, stars from a world far, far away.
先生はきっと私の星で。
This is even regardless of the fact that Miss O'Hara may quit her job at the academy. The cold night breeze sweeps across, and Miss O'Hara and I shiver simultaneously. We look at each other and let out a small laugh. The tension ebbs away slightly.
ここ寒いし、もう戻った方が。
Saying this, I attempt to head into the school building first. I walk towards the door. Just then... What? She clutches my hand from behind. Miss O'Hara's hand around mine. I turn around.
ダメ。
Miss O'Hara has a driven look on her
やっ
face.
ぱり安心できない。
Oh no, oh no, oh no. I don't like where this is going. I mean, what is she gonna do to us? Like, how can you guarantee any more than just taking our word? I am astounded.
今完全に理解し合えた流れでしたよ。ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい。でも私。
Miss O'Hara's head droops apologetically. Somehow, it reminds me of a small child. Well, if I had a dream of being crucified and burned at the stake, I might react similarly. But that being said...
でもじゃあどうすれば。
All of this is beyond me now. If now were here, she might have been able to come up with a good idea, but she isn't. I consider how she may be worrying about me in our room right now. Oh my god, just get to the point, please. Oh my god, please. Stop! Miss O'Hara and I remain silent for a while. The sky is filled with stars. Stars from a distant, distant world. A perfect night sky to gaze at with someone you admire. Miss O'Hara speaks into the silence. Even in the darkness of the night, I can see her cheeks flush red.
大崎さんも誰にも言えない秘密を教えてくれたら安心できるかも。
We are in the world of grown-ups, right? Right? Because right now I'm convinced we're dealing with teenagers. This is my second accentuated huh of the night. I consider how absurd this is, but Miss O'Hara is serious. It appears this is the only solution she can think of. But come on. Miss O'Hara looks downtrodden. Oh no. I don't know. So if we tell her a secret and we participate in this bullshit blackmailing scheme, like, I mean, what is she gonna do if we don't tell her a secret? If we don't tell her a secret, what's the worst that could happen? Because I honestly don't want to participate in this. Okay, we're gonna not tell her a secret, because what's she gonna do? What's she gonna do? Like, hold us hostage? Yeah. I have just one secret that I can't tell anyone, but it truly is a secret that I don't want to tell, nor do I want anyone to know it. I can't. What to do? What to do? What to do?
先生。
Miss O'Hara's eyes appear to be gleaming with expectation.
先生ごめん。
I slowly turn my body around.
ごめんなさい。本当に私言いませんから。
And I flee.
大崎さん。
I mean, this might make things awkward in class next time, but...
ごめんなさい。
Escape successful. I mean, come on. It's nice pattering. I feel like we just dodged a bullet. That was crazy. That was crazy. I gotta end that one. I don't think I can go on right now. So next time, we'll see just how awkward things are in class next time we see Miss O'Hara. I mean, to be fair, I really want to help her out. I really like her, but that blackmailing bullshit, not a fan. So next time, hopefully she doesn't fail us. We'll find out. I can't do it anymore. Talk to you on the next one.